Imagine waking up one morning to discover your state, yes, the one you've called home for decades, is wobbling on the edge of a financial abyss. From staggering pension shortfalls measured in the hundreds of billions, to creaky infrastructure that could collapse under the next heavy storm. Several U.S. states are not just faltering, they are flirting with collapse. And no, this isn't political fearmongering, it's what the numbers are screaming at us. Illinois alone has amassed over $200 billion in unfunded pension liabilities, ranking among the very worst in the nation. But here's the twist. This isn't just about remote headlines, it's personal. When a state faces fiscal breakdown, it isn't just pensions and potholes that crumble, it's your retirement, your taxes, your sense of security. So buckle in. Over the next few minutes, we are diving into 10 U.S. states on the brink of collapse, not to scare you, but to show you how close we really are. And stay tuned till the end, because knowing whether your state makes the list could spark solutions, or spark a mass exodus. Are you ready to find out? Number 1. California. Forget postcards, it feels like California's writing its own thank you note to anyone leaving. With skyrocketing housing, relentless wildfires, and chronic gridlock, many are fleeing. In fact, hundreds of thousands left in recent years, and the state may never regain its 2019 population peak. Can you imagine a place so burdened by its own success that it starts cannibalizing itself? It's a bizarre twist of fate, the land of innovation, now innovation-resistant. Yet beneath this mass departure lies a dark economic undertow. Businesses are packing up and heading to friendlier tax climates, while the tax base shrinks alongside dwindling public services. And let's not forget the unsung hero, the state pension system, with California, Wallonia rivaling New Jersey, teetering on insolvency thanks to underfunded liabilities. So next time you hear California just ask, who's left to dream? Number 2. New Jersey. Welcome to America's retirement trap, New Jersey. It's not just the pizza that's heavy, so are the pension burdens. 6 of the state's 7 pension funds are expected to run dry in the next few years, with teachers potentially left out in the cold by 2030. If pensions had a rap name, this situation would be big promises, low cash. Imagine the political games. Retire now or wait for, well, who knows what. Residents may face higher taxes or shrinking services, and the state government could become expert-level tight rollers with budgets. And let's be honest, no one loves extra taxes. Even the Liberty Bell is probably quivering. Number 3. Illinois. Illinois has more rust than a forgotten shipyard, with crippling debt, declining infrastructure, and a suburban exodus. It's a textbook Rust Belt nightmare. Picture long bridges with more potholes than pavement, an infrastructure horror show from coast to coast within a single state. But don't tune out just yet, there's a glimmer of hope. Chicago alone still channels innovation, tourism, and finance. However, the rest of the state is like that one relative who stopped paying rent. Without urgent investment, Illinois could tip into irreversible decline, unless someone picks up the shovel fast. Number 4. Michigan. We've seen Detroit's 2013 bankruptcy, but that tale was just the prologue. Today, Michigan still grapples with shrinking cities, aging roads, and failing services, especially in regions untouched by Detroit's downtown revival. It's like B-movie drama, where the sequel never ends. Despite that, there's resilience. They've repackaged the auto industry with electric vehicle hope. But the clock is ticking. Without repairing schools, infrastructure, and community, Michigan risks becoming the decline that never went away. Number 5. West Virginia. West Virginia feels like that quiet hometown you remember, until you realize the population's slipping. Roads are crumbling, and hospitals can't even handle flu season, let alone the next hurricane or opioid wave. The state depends on federal funds for over 50% of its $19.2 billion budget, especially Medicaid for nearly 1/3 of residents. Now picture budget cuts stripping $240 million, or even $1 billion, from healthcare, leaving 165,000 adults uninsured and rural hospitals teetering on bankruptcy. Is that idyllic Appalachian life worth sacrificing health security? Sounds like a mountain retreat, until your nearest ER waves at you from the other side of a washed-out bridge. Then there's the opioid shadow. one of the darkest in America. Despite heroic strides, like naloxone saving hundreds of lives, new federal cuts threaten to wipe out progress in communities still recovering from decades of addiction devastation. Layer in an aging population with few doctors left to treat them, health departments stripped of essential funding, and rural economies hollowed out by coal decline, and you have a state flirting with collapse. Yet, in the leafy hollows of Appalachia, resilience is still real. Local apprenticeships, mobile cancer screenings, and healthcare incentives are trying to shackle back hope, just in time. But ask yourself, can grit alone rebuild a state under siege? Or is West Virginia running out of lifelines? Number 6. Louisiana. Louisiana has always had a complicated relationship with water, but while locals may joke about a little puddle, the truth is far darker. Repeated floods and hurricane strikes have left infrastructure in tatters, while state coffers leak money faster than a busted levee. After spending $2 billion in promised federal aid, state officials are now scrambling to cover repairs and bolster defenses, all while failing to fully fund critical systems that protect its 4.6 million residents. Now, for the punchline, your tax bill might be next. When FEMA steps out, state and local governments may hike property taxes while pension liabilities and emergency funds balloon, putting homeowners right back in the flood or on the hook. But wait, there's more. Louisiana's retirement systems are burdened with over $18 billion in unfunded liabilities, and that number might be understated by another $4 billion due to overly optimistic investment assumptions. That means every teacher, firefighter, and civil servant could be left treading water, financially speaking, if pension debt overtakes the state's modest $3.8 billion rainy day reserves. So when locals say, "Come hell or high water," for Louisiana it might not be just a saying, it could be a warning. Can the state patch the roof before the next storm arrives? Or is the floodgate already open? Stay tuned, we are about to find out. Number 7. New York. New York might glow like Broadway at night, but behind the lights it's burning through money faster than Times Square tourists. The state lost over 631,000 residents between 2020 and 2023, the steepest drop of any state, and that exodus is not just a tragedy, it's a budget catastrophe. With fewer taxpayers footing the bill, every public service, from roads to schools, feels the squeeze. And don't even get me started on pensions. New York City's pension and retiree healthcare promises are stacked at around $93 billion, all unfunded, like writing a blank check with no money in the account. Now, here's the cliffhanger. The state just passed a record-breaking $254 billion budget, but critics warn it's built on shaky assumptions, tax hikes that might chase away even more earners, federal support that's not guaranteed, and debt that's climbing like the Empire State Building. Meanwhile, older New Yorkers are paying the price. Poverty among seniors has jumped nearly 50%, pushing many to work into their 70s just to get by. So ask yourself, can the Big Apple survive losing its shine? Or is the next financial collapse sitting in a budget hearing room in Albany, waiting for a decision? Stick around, because next up we are diving into the real cost of exodus and debt on your wallet. Number 8. Connecticut. Connecticut may look quietly prosperous, until you open the pension books and discover a fiscal abyss big enough to swallow the state. With public pension funds, just 55% funded for state employees and 62% for teachers, the sixth worst in the nation, it's clear the state is dancing on a financial razor's edge despite recent improvements. In fact, nearly $53 billion in unfunded obligations, plus another $26 billion in bonded debt, sits waiting to pounce, an elephant in the room no one wants to pay for. Think of it as paying for a luxurious lifestyle that your paycheck can't support, and surprise, your wallet gets the bill. Now, brace yourself, Connecticut has relied on strict fiscal guardrails since 2017, redirecting surging revenues to pay down debt and build reserves, $10 billion in pension debt gone, but the state's survival depends on keeping these rules strong. Tweak them, and you risk unraveling every safety net, from schools to healthcare. And there's another twist. Public opinion is split. Leaders debate whether loosening spending caps and raising taxes may spark investment or trigger an emigration wave. So, Grab your pocket protector and ask, will Connecticut stay solvent? Or will its slow-motion financial sinkhole pull everything in? Stay tuned, it gets riskier. Number 9. Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania, once solid foundation, is cracking beneath unmended roads, underfunded schools, and patchwork budgets. And no, it's not just winter potholes expanding. Nearly 22% of municipal pension plans are financially distressed, putting cops, firefighters, and retirees at risk of seeing their benefits vanish in a puff of fiscal smoke. On top of that, unfunded liabilities for state employee and teacher pensions stand around $41 billion, eating away at resources that could have been spent on infrastructure improvements, community services, or, dare we say, even property tax relief. It's like building a house on sand. The more you patch the roof, the more the foundation sinks. But wait, there's a plot twist. Thanks to reforms like Act 120 and increased employer contributions, Pennsylvania has made progress, raising pension funding from risk levels to a more sustainable footing and avoiding further budget downgrades. Still, those gains feel like using duct tape on a dam. One misstep, a new cost of living increase adding $1 billion to liabilities, stalled budgets, or another economic shock, and the whole system could flood. So ask yourself, will Harrisburg act now with substantial investments, or are we just delaying the collapse while the Pennsylvania keystone cracks right beneath us? Stay tuned, because the next decisions could decide whether your property taxes skyrocket or your 401k sinks. Number 10. Florida. Florida might feel like paradise, but under that sun-soaked veneer lies a ticking time bomb, and I'm not talking about humidity. Sea levels here are rising faster than the cost of beachfront condos, forecast to increase by 8 to 13 inches by 2040, and possibly 4 feet by 2100, threatening to swallow roads, homes, and even entire coastal neighborhoods. And the skyrocketing property insurance rates, averaging $6,000 per year, 3 times the national average, aren't just a punchline. They are a warning. With insurers fleeing and state-backed programs stretched paper-thin, Floridians may soon find their retirement savings washed away by more than just tides. But climate isn't the only storm brewing. Florida's pension systems are creaking under their own weight. And tourism, the lifeblood of its $1.5 trillion mega-region economy, saw early signs of strain in 2025. And while wealthy homeowners are installing sea walls and pumps, more moderate-income residents may have to choose between health care or flood insurance. So here's the burning question. Can Florida still sell the dream of endless summers when every storm season chips away at its foundation? Stick around, because how Florida responds next could determine whether it continues lounging on the beach or drowns in debt and water. As we wrap this up, think about what you've just learned, not just locations on a map, but real places where decisions today, on taxes, infrastructure, pensions, and climate, could deeply affect your future tomorrow. Whether it's roads washed away in Louisiana, rising seas in Florida, or empty pensions in New York and Connecticut, this isn't just state-level drama, it's about your life, your savings, and your peace of mind. If this video made you pause and reflect, hit subscribe now to stay ahead of the curve, because tomorrow, we'll dive into how communities are fighting back, what you can do in your state, and how not to be left behind. Let's make sure that knowledge doesn't just save your mind, but can also protect your lifestyle. Until then, stay alert, stay invested, and I'll see you in that next deep dive.